if we lose too many jobs and we have too many people who no longer earn a living and no longer earn wages, what ultimately are these companies selling products to or services to? Ultimately, there has to be consumers on the end of this that pay for these services. There's the B2C sort of is the foundation of the B2B that sits on top of it. And so if we replace all the workers or a large proportion of the workers with AI and they no longer earn and they no longer can spend, it doesn't work. And so I'll just add this to our conversation that there's a bigger economic issue here than just whether or not AI can or should or will replace most of our jobs. Fundamentally, the capitalism doesn't work if we don't have wages and workers. And somebody needs to explain to me what the next thing is, other than some kind of techno-feudalism, if we continue to move in the direction of all jobs would be eliminated by it. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And if you look at, again, the history of science and technology and on society from, the famous Luddites through to the wide scale anarchist activity that opposed industrialization, especially in Europe, to socialists in after World War II, all of them had that same concern. Essentially, it's all well and good to automate us out of a job and so that you can make more money, but then who's going to buy your stuff? You have to have society still. And if you, but the on the optimistic side, what has generally happened is new industries have emerged, new jobs have emerged. My father certainly never could have imagined what I do for a living, and probably yours as well. And I bet his father could never have imagined what he did for a living, and and on down the road. Society and technology do advance, and it's not all doom and gloom. I think that that's one of the things that people may be thinking, they may be listening to us and saying, wow, this is terrible. But is it? What's your response to this doom and gloom scenario?
No, I don't subscribe to it. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think it's the kind of Jevons paradox stuff about, the more, if something valuable gets cheaper and better, we want more of it. And so I know I was listening to, and I've included some of it in the report, Aaron Levy of Box, the CEO of Box, who's a great commentator on the tech industry. I mean, he was saying about how, he calls himself Jevons pilled, but he's saying, he sees engineers in his organization becoming more efficient, and they get more work done, and then they want to do more work, and they need more people. And I guess, history is a graveyard of confident job apocalypse predictions. The famous various ones we've mentioned, the tellers. Jeff Hinton, in 2016, do not train to be radiologists. There'll be none left in 5 years' time. There are now more radiologists, and the Mayo Clinic was a really good example of, they have more radiologists, but they also have a team of data scientists, which didn't exist. There's a job that didn't exist 30 years ago. Digital video editors didn't exist. All sorts of jobs didn't exist, and say like ours didn't. So I think it's, if the squeeze on the entry level rung of the ladder starts to move up seniority, then we have a genuine problem. But there's not what's it called, the lump of labor fallacy. There's not a fixed amount of work to go around. That's just not really, not how things have developed with humans. So I think there will be more jobs. We're also facing, it's a different podcast entirely, but population crisis in various countries. So in some countries, they can be very short of people. So there's going to be different speeds of automation in different countries. And so I kind of tend towards the positive on this. And if the labor stats start to show seniority, seeing more senior jobs being automated away, then we may have to revise our opinion. But for now, I don't think that's necessarily the case.